Visions, I've seen it in my manifestation. I'm sleeping this guy and gonna create the most viral knockout ever. Sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up, warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat yo and I'm gonna beat Jaden on Love. On my mama, I'm gonna beat both of y'all ass.
The impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
Gervonta Davis just erupted after Jake Paul allegedly claimed he'd knock him out in only 3 rounds, a dig that added real stakes to the already noisy build-up. Critics and insiders say this fight puts Davis's reputation on the line, as it's rare for someone of his standing to face such a mismatch, and a defeat would raise serious questions. At the same time, if Davis can overcome the hype, size, and power advantages Paul brings, the victory would be memorable. A moment that could define how fans in the sport of boxing remember him forever.
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. Yeah. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks...
The answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah. But if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion in multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside as boxers, me and, Chris Algieri, the champ, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience. So we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you, you're probably going down if you're a small guy, if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public, so there is a lot to lose though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing. And I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned, Mike?
Paul has ramped up the stakes by declaring he'll deliver the knockout of the year when he faces Gervonta Davis. He's clearly not treating this as just another fight. He wants a highlight that dominates headlines. His public statements suggest he sees this bout as a chance to validate himself, shock skeptics, and create a moment that can't be ignored in boxing lore. By aiming for the biggest knockout, Paul is betting not just on power but on showmanship, pushing the idea that this clash is about more than victory.
Fighters, because this thing is going to be watched by hundreds of millions globally. Jake, give the people one thing that you can guarantee that they're going to get on November 14th when they tune in to Netflix.
Yeah, you're gonna see the 2 biggest fighters in America go head to head with an amazing card. World championship fights back to back to back. And that's just how the MVP way we do it. And I'm going to come for a knockout of the year again. I've seen it in my visions. I've seen it in my manifestation. I'm sleeping this guy and going to create the most viral knockout ever.
Rolly Romero has weighed in on the potential fallout of a Jake Paul knockout over Gervonta Davis, arguing it wouldn't seriously tarnish Tank's legacy. He reminds critics that Davis is already a 3-division world champion and a highly respected fighter in the boxing world. In Instagram reels and interviews, Romero emphasized that one loss or even a dramatic knockout doesn't erase years of achievements, titles, and dominance in multiple weight classes.
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
The impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or like all this stuff, right? And at the end of it, bro, we just want to do what's best for ourselves, right?
Facts.
Right or wrong?
Facts.
Bro, just do what's best for you.
Romero offers a grounded take on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis clash. He argues that regardless of what happens, Tank's legacy is secure. He's already a multi-division champ with serious accomplishments. Romero says Davis doesn't need to prove himself by beating Paul. That said, he doesn't dismiss the challenge. Romero admits Paul's size is real and gives him a physical edge. While the size difference is a legitimate factor, it doesn't erase what Tank has built over the years in boxing.
Too big for him, but like Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, like, or it's an exhibition. We don't know if they go at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think it impacts, like, will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
Daniel Cormier was visibly stunned when he learned Davis would take on Jake Paul. In a recent short clip, DC called the match ridiculous, saying it felt like a mismatch and questioning why a high-level pro like Tank would step into the ring with an influencer boxer. He admitted he never expected this crossover fight for someone of Davis's stature to go down this route. He also expressed concern over the size and power disparities, wondering whether the spectacle could overshadow the integrity of Tank's career.
I swear to God, I was on a plane coming home from Las Vegas. When Luis told me Gervonta Davis is fighting Jake Paul, I said, get the bleep out of here. I said, you're a bleep liar. Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. Gervonta Davis is that much better than Jake Paul at boxing. But Gervonta Davis in his last fight weighed 133.8 pounds. And I'm not over here in the business of just crapping on Jake Paul. I am much more respectful of what he's starting to build as a professional boxer. You're fighting a guy that's better than you. He's just much smaller. But that guy, because he's better than you, what if he wins? Everything Jake Paul has done is wiped completely out. Gervonta Davis loses to Jake Paul. Obviously, it's going to hurt who Gervonta Davis is. But he lost to a guy that's going to be upwards of 70 pounds bigger than him when he steps into the boxing ring. But I will tell you this right now, without a shadow of a doubt. I will watch this. Tank Davis is 30-0-1. You want to talk about Jake Paul fighting the real boxer? That's a real boxer. You can't make this stuff up, man. It's true. They're fighting.
KSI has criticized how hype and spectacle often drive these crossover matches, suggesting that they blur the line between sport and entertainment. In a recent video, he called out Jake Paul for ruining influence or boxing, implying that some of Paul's promotional tactics bend narratives to gain attention rather than focus purely on athletic merit.
AJ and Jake was never gonna happen.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought it was actually gonna happen? Bro, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like so many people just believe everything.
But that's pretty unbelievable on the other hand.
I feel like I know. Well, okay, how do I say it like this? Itoma versus White. I had a lot of people bet on White winning. And I'm there like, you guys don't watch boxing, do you? You just look at a record and go, oh, Dylan's fought many more people than Itoma. That record says a lot. Itoma's like 18, not 18, Itoma's 20, inexperienced, 1-1. Like, I just knew Itoma was gonna just destroy him. And I think a good fight for Itoma would be him and Wilder.
Even journalist Gareth A. Davies has expressed serious reservations about the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis matchup, describing it as another example of boxing prioritizing spectacle over substance. Davies argues that with the glaring weight difference and the exhibition status, the bout undermines the fairness and competitive integrity that traditionally define the sport. According to him, the fight may attract mainstream attention and generate revenue, but in doing so, it risks eroding the credibility of boxing as a serious athletic contest.